Who's the county attorney?
Doug Jackson.
Oh.
He's right there. Gloria, somebody's wanting to talk to you. Can I help you?
Yeah. I need a couple Freedom of Information Act. Let's see.
You're talking about for the water?
No.
For what is it?
Freedom of Information Act?
Freedom of
FOIA?
Molly, do you know anything about a Freedom of Information Act? What is it in regards to?
Sheriff's Office?
Sheriff's Office?
Thanks.
There's been a couple of requests from people, but Montana is up for it.
Okay, so how do we do this? Okay. Well, then I'm on the right track, huh?
You're on the right track.
Excuse me if I sit over here, right?
Right there, Matt.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, basically, Montana has a constitutional right to observation of government. Montana also has a right to know, right to information regarding government, not a FOIA Act. It's treated completely differently.
Okay.
That's okay, that's right. So if a person wants information, what you do is just do a written request and say, we'd like information regarding disclosure of A, B, C, D, E, and F.
Okay.
And then if there's photocopies to make, we can charge you for the photocopies, a reasonable amount to make them so the taxpayers don't pay them.
What's
We can
reasonable?
put a list of what they are. So if you say, I want a copy of a dispatch record or whatever else, those things
Body
are-
cam.
Pardon?
Body cam.
If you're a victim, you get it anyway.
Uh-huh.
Period. So victims get those because they need them. If you're also a person being prosecuted for a crime, you get them as part of the discovery of the criminal suit. Completely exempt, completely different than requests for information.
Okay.
Totally different.
Okay.
Nothing to do. One doesn't affect the other. They're totally different.
Okay.
And also, part of that's the fact that a lot of stuff in criminal justice information, or that's done as treated to prosecute a crime, is confidential. So who wants to know if the body cam says the guy who was getting busted was drunk on his ass or whatever else, instead of obnoxious, and then go through the list of different adjectives or words he called the person who busted him, or his ex-wife to be, or whatever else. Who wants to play that publicly on the internet?
Right, yeah.
Not anybody, probably.
Right, I don't want any of it to go to the internet. However,
But what I'm saying is that's why there's some guidelines about
Sure.
what you get. So that's what you do.
okay.
So are you a victim or a person who's popped?
I was arrested, then released, and I
Okay.
want the body cam footage of it.
Okay.
I want the body cam footage from the time, and I want records of when the body cam has been turned off and turned on.
Okay. That's
So
what you
there's
have.
a record.
So that's a record of the W. So were you prosecuted or not, or do you have a lawyer or not?
I've talked to a lawyer,
Okay.
but I haven't been. So I was arrested, then unarrested
When?
yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay. Who you did talk to?
I have left a message.
Because the problem is when you talk to a lawyer gets all the information out of discovery and the ticket.
Well, there was no ticket. I asked for a ticket, but they wouldn't give me a ticket.
What was
They
it?
said the ticket would come from the county attorney.
What was the arrest for?
Obstruction of justice.
Okay. I have no idea what it is. We
Yeah.
don't have a report on it yet.
Yeah, they arrested me for not telling them my name,
Okay.
and then when they went to get the patrol car, and by the time they got back over to my property, they decided that they were going to unarrest me,
Hmm?
and then asked me again if I would talk to them. This
Why
is
were
that
they
this.
even there? Was this a trespass charge or something?
No, so a neighbor's dog was harassing my livestock.
Hoofed livestock?
Huh?
Hoofed livestock?
No, chickens.
Okay.
And so, in my belief, is Montana state law says that I can handle the dog myself, I can report it to the owners, and they have a time limit to deal with the dog,
That's right.
or the sheriff will go deal with the dog. So,
The problem is the county here doesn't have a dog ordinance, which is not a surprise.
state law
And
supersedes, doesn't it?
State law says you are supposed to keep your dog away from harassing stuff, but if it's hoofed livestock, it's different too.
No, it's not.
Chickens are not. So if it's hoofed livestock the dog chases, you shoot it. And it's fine. Can't shoot it for running your chickens. But
Why
you can
not?
shoot it for chasing sheep, because the state law doesn't acknowledge that.
It says livestock.
No.
Chickens are livestock.
Hoofed livestock. to shoot.
Huh. Well, I'll have to look at that. Anyway,
The old rule.
the way I read it, it doesn't specifically say hoof livestock.
Can't run horses, can't run burros, can't run sheep, can't run pigs, can't run cows. But you can run emus, turkeys, ducks, geese, chickens. It's a problem. But the dog still has to go back home, and it can't be as a dangerous animal. So that's it. So you called the sheriff on your dog, or called
No.
the sheriff?
They called the sheriff.
Because
I
what?
shot the dog.
Okay.
And then the dog, that night went by. The next day, the two sheriff's deputies showed up, came on the property, knocked on the door.
Yeah.
I walked them back
Hmm?
to the property line. And I said, you stand over there, and I'll stand over here, and I'll talk to you.
Hmm?
And then, in the meantime, they're like, no, you need to stand right here and talk to us.
That's a good point.
What?
The problem is, who may have fired the gun and broken the law, unfortunately.
Okay.
Let me find you the statute.
Oh. Then I probably just screwed myself, huh?
Well, I don't think you screwed yourself, but I think the problem you have is that you may have caused yourself a problem in terms of.
So I was told I could be charged with aggravated animal cruelty
I don't know that they would do that. That's
or
not mine.
or felony criminal endangerment.
Probably not, unless they were standing there. And you shot
They
them.
were not standing there. So I have another neighbor that has vicious dogs, has had cops called on their dogs.
Mhm.
The dogs have been on my property multiple times. They have harassed chickens multiple times, been witnessed by other people harassing my chickens. And my rule is, if they're harassing my chickens, they gotta go. If they're harassing my chickens and the owner's right behind them yelling at the dog to get away from him, I don't do nothing. I let the owner handle it.
Yeah, but the problem is there an 81 over there?
Am I looking at the bottom? What number?
It's a 81 through, it says 80 through 99.
I got 69
Don't
through
worry, I've got it
79.
here. I've got it here.
No, 80 through 89 down.
I know what it is. I got it here. 87, 81, 81, 12.
I do appreciate your time and the
Is that
education.
Killing a dog harassing destroying and injuring stock, notice the owner penalty. As used in the second, harasses means worries, chases, runs after livestock, including ostriches, rheas, and emus in a manner that may lead to subsequent injury to the livestock. A dog, licensed or not, that is off the premises, while off the premises, owned or under control of its owner and on the property controlled, leased, or manner that harasses, kills, wounds, or injures livestock not belonging to the owner of the dog, considered a public nuisance, and may be killed immediately by the owner of the livestock or an agent or employee of the owner, or the owner of the dog, when notified, shall kill the dog within 24 hours of notification. If the owner fails to do so, an officer may be notified and shall kill the dog or cause the dog to be killed. The dog may not be killed in a manner that will endanger the person. This section applies to dogs. Her dog does not apply to a dog herding livestock under the direction of the owner or agents. It does not apply to a dog engaged in sport hunting or predator control. The owner of a dog that harasses, kills, wounds, or injures livestock is guilty of misdemeanor. You're not the owner of the dog. They were.
No.
Okay.
I'm owner of the chickens.
Okay.
And they were not on my property with their owners. Their owners were nowhere near my property.
Any person who permits or directs any dog owned by the person or in the person's possession to chase or run any cattle or other livestock, which the person is not the owner or the person in charge of upon open range or government lands or away from a watering place, upon the open range shall be punished by a fine of not more than $500. Liability of the owner of a dog for damages to livestock or poultry. Guess what? There is a section. The owner of livestock or poultry injured or killed by any dog owner may recover his damages from the owner of the dog, the actual value of the animals killed, or the value of the damages sustained by reason of the injuries. Did the dog kill your chickens?
No, because I stopped the dog.
Okay, was it going to, or was it
Yeah.
hold of it?
Yeah.
Did it have hold of any yet?
Yeah, my chicken was ruffled up. When I got there, the chicken was up against the car and the dog was in a stance like this with front paws out, head up, teeth showing.
Mm-hmm. It is no defense of the action that the owner dog had no knowledge of the dog's whereabouts at or prior to the time when the dog injured or killed livestock or poultry. So they added poultry to the statute. There you go. Or that the owner or keeper of the dog had knowledge of the dog's disposition or inclination to worry, kill, or injure stock or poultry. So, as used in this section, harasses means worries, chases, runs after livestock.
Exactly what it is.
This is clearly that. A dog, while off the premises under control, that wounds, kills, injures livestock, that harasses, kills, wounds, or injures livestock not only is considered a public nuisance, and A, may be killed immediately by the owner of the livestock or an agent or employee of the owner. That's 2A. So that's a doable commodity.
This is how I feed myself, friends, family, clients.
Is what?
With
Chickens?
my livestock. Yeah,
Chickens?
my chickens, yeah.
So you raise chickens and raise eggs?
Yeah, so anytime, I'm sorry, I forgot your name, but
It's Wally Coleman.
Wally, anytime a client comes out to my house, they don't leave without an offer, at least an offer of a dozen eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had clients that have come out that have been in tough places who've left with multiple dozens of eggs.
What do you do when you say clients? What else?
I'm an addictions counselor.
Are you really?
Yeah.
Cool. Good for you.
So, and I came from the other side, Wally, the criminal side.
That's okay.
And I've never been to a day of high school, but I graduated college. I passed all the state stuff. The
Good.
state has done nothing but hamper me. But now I'm licensed, and I've been in practice for a decade.
So here's the news. This county probably won't harass you.
The guy
you're talking to for the what it's worth Department of Prod Ag Law for the law school for 20 years and ranches for a living. I do. That's no shit.
Yeah, I mean, we do what we do to get by, right? And so, like, my mother-in-law needs help. She's disabled.
So the question is, why? So they called on you.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
And then the cops come, right?
Yeah.
And I just wanted to walk them back to the property line and then talk to them. And then the deputy Atkins kept saying, I need your ID, I need your ID. I said, nope, I'm not giving you my ID. He says, I'm going to arrest you. I said, okay, arrest me.
That they can do. Giving them the ID isn't the problem. It's one thing of when there's a crime allegedly of who shot water, who did water, guns discharged, then all the question goes, who's who in the game. So
Sure.
it's better to not frustrate the system. But the truth of the matter is, in this case, that because the dog had the chickens basically up and down. So you sell eggs too?
Yep.
Cool. That's good to hear. So you do that.
Yeah, we sell them, we give them away. I mean,
Good.
when my wife made the deal with the lady out at the new meat packing area out there,
Mm-hmm.
they made a deal to sell eggs. We've sold eggs to people. We had a guy used to come out, worked in the old film industry in Hollywood. He used to come out and buy eggs. Yeah, we've sold many eggs.
Hmm?
So, and all I want is the
The
body
word
cam.
poultry is in.
Right.
So that being the case, their dog was doing it. He had to be killed immediately by the owner of the livestock. So did you kill the dog or just
No, it lived.
What?
It lived.
Big mistake.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't say that.
Well, no, and I'll tell you, Wally, I wish the whole thing would have never happened. What this has done to my poor wife, she is the exact opposite of me, Wally. She is kind and sensitive and caring,
Mm-hmm.
and this has caused a lot of emotional distress to her. Last night, because she threatened to destroy me,
This is the neighbor?
I have, and I
How's
would.
she going to destroy you?
I don't know. I don't know if she's going to kill me or what.
Is your dog that important? Hi. You free for a second? Come visit for a minute. You're going to love this story. Trust me, this is an interesting deal.
Uh-oh. Am I in trouble?
No, you're not in trouble. Deb Jackson's the county attorney.
Yeah.
She just was talking to me about this
Oh, well, that's the same
a
thing.
minute ago. The same thing.
Oh. So anyways, she's on my porch. I'm on a video game.
This gal,
Yeah. So my neighbor, Kayla, never had a problem with them the whole time I've lived there, 5 years. So I'm on a video game with my kid, right? And this all happens.
Mhm.
And so the deed's done. I'm back in my chair playing the video game, and I'm talking to my son and like 10 other people.
mm-hmm.
And then Kayla comes to the door, and I go out and I talk to her. So they all heard her.
Mm-hmm.
And my son went and got all their IP addresses and talked to them all about it. And so I'm like, well, I don't know. My lifestyle, Wally, has been to where in just since I straightened up my life and addictions, I've testified in cases where people have lost their children and have had my life threatened.
Yeah.
I have testified in cases where people have lost their freedom and had my life threatened.
Yeah.
I used to do enforcement and collections. I'm serious.
Mm-hmm.
I've had my life threatened by those people.
Mm-hmm.
My life's been threatened.
Now, this is the gentleman who shot the dog.
You shot the dog?
Yeah.
He is
I didn't
a
want
licensed
to.
addiction counselor.
I did
and
not want
He
to.
raises eggs, etc. And he doesn't have a lawyer, and he hasn't got one. And so he asked me, "How do I get information about body cam and find this stuff out?" I said, "Look, are you a victim, or are you the perp, or are you whatever else?" So he explained it to me. It's like, wait a second, I just talked to Dan about this case. So here's the skinny. The statute doesn't read the way the statute did. They adjusted some stuff.
Okay.
So what the statute says now is, as used in this section, harasses means worries, chases, runs after livestock, including ostriches, rheas, and emus, in a manner that may lead to subsequent injury to the stock. The dog, licensed or not, while off the premises, owned or under control of the owner of the property, okay, or land leased or controlled by the livestock owner, harasses, kills, and wounds and injures livestock not belonging to the owner, is considered to be a public nuisance, and A, may be killed immediately by the owner of the livestock or an agent or employer of the owner, or B, can get 24 hours notification, and then the owner has to do the killing.
And
which
if
is
not,
interesting. Or the dog may not be killed in a manner that will endanger a person. This section does not apply to herding dogs, etc., but it also specifically says the other dog that harasses, kills, wounds, or injures livestock is guilty of a misdemeanor. And then when they did that, it's kind of a cool deal, except they left it said at that. But also, I think they inserted the word somewhere in dogging livestock. The question also says poultry, which amazed me. That wasn't there.
So what happened? I don't even know what happened in the case because we don't even have a file ready.
so I was arrested for obstructing, and Wally says that I probably am lucky that they released me
Okay.
because I wouldn't give them my name. I tried getting them onto the neighbor's land.
Yeah.
Get them off of my property and onto the neighbor's land. And I talked to them. And then they said, well, what's your name? And I said, I don't think I have to give you my name. I haven't done nothing. And that's what he said. I said, all right, well,
Yes.
if that's the law, that's the law.
Yes,
Arrest
yeah.
me.
Let me
And
talk
they're,
about
all right,
that
you're
law.
under arrest.
Okay. So
Don't do that later. Talk to him.
what happened to the dog? What happened between the dog and the? What was the dog doing?
Trying to kill my chickens, chasing my chickens.
Was chasing your chickens.
Yeah, I have almost 40 chickens now.
Okay.
You know, every spring, though, we could have as many as 100 chickens.
Okay.
So we free range chickens. So what is it? The fence out law, not the fence in law?
The chickens are subject to the open range rules. Sorry.
They're
Although
not.
they do fit in the kettle very much more easily.
They
than a
do.
cow.
They do. They get bigger that way.
Well, this is we share our chickens, right? But anyways, so I forgot what I was talking about.
So that they're free range. So
Right. So
your chickens
so
are
like
roaming.
so like we have Chuck and Wendy down in Justice Court, right?
Mhm.
Court next door to us.
Okay.
My chickens have gone onto her property and been killed by her dogs. We accept the chicken back and we don't do or say nothing.
Okay.
Because our way we look at it, no matter what the law may say, the chicken went over there.
Right.
The chicken shouldn't be over
And the
there.
dog's on their
Yeah.
grounds.
Yeah.
There,
So
you're
Okay.
not. Yeah.
their dogs came over and attacked my dog on my property. It's now dead.
Oh, okay. The
So
frogs.
Chuck and Wendy's
Okay.
didn't do nothing. Haven't said nothing, done nothing, right?
Okay.
Christina, she's a manager across the street here. Her dogs, which I understand have been reported for being vicious, nipping at neighbors and stuff, cornering people, their dogs have come onto our property multiple times. Difference is, generally they're right behind them. come on, let's go home, leave them alone.
Yeah.
They're very seldom, but I've told her, if your dogs are over here and you're right behind them, get your dogs. Just get your dogs and go. I have a Berna. It shoots a rubber ball, 64 caliber. It's air propelled CO2. I shot their red dog with it, and I told her, I said, I don't want to kill your dog, but I can't have your dogs over here harassing my chickens. And that's what they do.
Okay.
And
How
so
does that red ball hurt, Deb? Believe me, you don't know how bad it hurts. You're hit by one. I know.
But the dog turned around and ran, right? So there was 3 of them. There's a big red pit bull, and I mean big because it's wide, not because it's tall.
Yeah.
She's got a cane corso that is huge, you know. And then there's a red retriever, some sort.
I won't hold you up. Could I grab those objections? I'll hit the Missoula. Okay?
So there's been multiple times we've had dogs on the property that nothing has happened to
What
them.
would happen on this case?
Right, and now I'm getting to that. I'm just saying that's nothing's happened to them because they weren't chasing chickens, or their owner was right behind them to collect their dog, right? So this day, like I said, I'm sitting in my chair, I'm in my bathrobe, I'm playing a video game with my son, who's in Great Falls. And it's World Wide Web. So he's listening. I've got one headphone off because this is my 4th marriage, and I've learned a few things along the way, and that's listening. And so I'm not ignoring my wife, and I hear the chickens go off, squawking. So I get up to go deal with it, see what's going on. The deed happens, the dog leaves.
Did it kill a chicken?
No, it did not kill a chicken, no,
Okay.
but it was harassing them and had it cornered. I don't know if it came out of my coop, I didn't see it, but that's the direction that the dog was facing east and my coop was kind of southwest of it. But like only by maybe me and that wall over there is the difference. And so he's got the chicken cornered and ruffled. I mean, it is ruffled. So I don't know if it had it in its mouth or what, but it is squawking. All the chickens are squawking. And it's got it pinned up against the car. Like the chicken was backed into a corner. And I come out the door and I seen what was going. So I walked down a couple steps off the porch. It was no further away from me and maybe 5 yards, 6 yards. And I shot the dog, and the dog ran off. So I sit down, start playing the game again. It's probably 5, 6 minutes, 7 minutes, and then the neighbor comes over. And she's like telling me how I'm a monster. Their daughter just watched their dog die. What else? Oh, that she's going to destroy me. She didn't know, I didn't know who she was or who she knew. And then stormed off. And then I was like, well, on her way out, I said, Kayla, just call the cops and let them handle it. And she left. And nobody showed up. Well, then the next day, I don't know what time it was, 1 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever, I'm sitting in my chair, and I see Kayla outside. So instantly, I'm like, oh shit, she's coming back to kill me. And so I got up and grabbed my Berna, and then when I got up and looked out, then I seen her husband and 2 officers. And so I sat down. And then they came up to the door and banging on the door, wanting to talk. And so I had my camera, my phone, my camera, and I'm like, okay, what do you want? We want to talk to you about this. And I said, okay, over here on their property. You guys go on their property. And then on the way over telling me, no, I needed to stand still. I wasn't allowed to do anything on my property. It pissed me off. I've got a lot of post-traumatic stress from being beat up by correctional officers, by sheriff's deputies, by police officers. I don't trust them. They're armed and they're dangerous. And I'm not saying they were going to be that day, but this is my history, right? This is what post-traumatic stress is. And so I thought, well, let's get them on that other property line, then we'll talk. And then by their attitude, I gave him attitude, and I said, no, I ain't going to talk to you. What's your name? And I said, no. Because by that time they were leaving, I had turned around, and then they would turn around back and say, what's your name? I said, I'm not telling you. And they said, you have to. And I said, I don't think I have to. Well, we'll arrest you. And I said, okay, arrest me. So they arrested me. And then they turned around and said, you're unarrested.
The way he says that is so cute. They said you're unarrested. Is
Yeah.
that like being unpregnant?
Yeah.
Apparently.
So one deputy, Atkins, went over to retrieve a patrol car and then had to drive back around to where I was at. And then I had told the other deputy, Thoreau, I think his name is. Yeah. But anyways, deputy whatever. I said, well, maybe I should have shut my mouth before I got arrested. And he's like, well, that's probably a good idea. And he said, but you wouldn't talk. And I said, well, I don't think I have to talk. Well, if I have to give my name, but when they read me your rights and then say, what's the Fifth Amendment for then?
Well, you have to identify yourself.
Well, they do know who I am now, right?
And you'll know who they are.
From now on.
Right. And if that's the law, I will follow that law.
Where you are right now.
Till I know that when I get pulled over in the car,
Yeah.
license, registration, and insurance. I have no problem with it. I don't have a problem with law enforcement. I don't. I'm afraid of them, and so therefore I stay away from them. I'm afraid of horses. You know what I don't own? Horses.
Okay. So basically, was that the whole ending? You shot the dog,
Mm-hmm.
and
So they said they're going to write up a report and give it to you,
yeah.
and that you were going to possibly charge me with aggravated animal cruelty or felony criminal mischief.
Well, it's amazing that they know what I'm going to charge you with, but
Well, what's
they're
more?
probably going to issue citations for that.
Yeah, and I asked, I said, well, give me a citation. And they said
They
it was
probably
up to you.
Oh, they're probably doing a request for prosecution.
The
because they know
interesting
what they're
part of
doing.
it is the statute's really plain. The dog had the chickens pinned up against the car, etc. And it used to say you had to be running with livestock. The fact that it's poultry, and right in the restitution that he goes after the neighbor.
So it actually says poultry now, huh?
It says the word poultry right
It
there.
doesn't even say hood.
Yeah.
So when did it get amended?
There is some changes in it. Looks back to 79, and after that, it's 7.
Oh, don't look it up. I'll look it up when I get there.
But I think
I-
it's an older change.
I-
But the thing about it is, to me, is that when it says, when he goes after restitution, when they included rheas, ostriches, and emus, that was a function of the 80s, 90s big push when they forced
Right,
them to
everybody had
sell.
emu
Selling
farms.
emu.
So that was it. So I think what happened is that put the pressure on to change some of it then.
Yeah.
That's my guess. And so that's it. But when it says in the restitution, the person who owns the livestock, or the cattle or chickens, or poultry, it says poultry. It's like, wait a second, that's a whole different world all of a sudden. So I'm like, this is a really interesting
I'll have to read this statute.
Sure.
dilemma.
And I appreciate your time, Deb. I
Yeah.
really do.
Yeah.
I just want to get this body cam footage so that if I am charged, then I can get it to an attorney.
Well, the body cam footage, it will go to you if you're pro se. If you have an attorney, it will not go to you. It'll go directly to your attorney.
Mhm.
So that's up to you. Whatever you want to do. If you want to get an attorney.
But I
you can
can't
do
get it myself?
Well, you will if you represent yourself, but the
Right.
body cam will not go to you. It'll go to your attorney
Right.
if you're represented.
If I came in and requested body cam footage for just anything,
No,
you can't do that.
Nope.
Why not?
nope. It's not public record. It's
Okay.
criminal. It's CCJI. It's criminal confidential.
Okay.
Just
That's
The-
just
the-
information.
okay, so
Just
the
so
only
you get it.
the only thing I really wanted to look at on it was when I turned around to be arrested and I had my phone in my hand and it's got a cover on it and I put it in my back pocket. The deputy pulled it out of my pocket, opened it up, and then threw it on my car hood. So, in my knowledge, and again, I'm a layman, he needs a warrant to look at my phone.
Well, you know what? Let's look at it and see what he was looking at.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
may have been taking a potential weapon, or
No, he
Yeah,
knew it
you
was
know.
my phone. I had it.
you had it, okay, so,
He-
but if they're gonna arrest you, they're gonna take it out of your pocket and make it property anyway.
Sure.
So I'll look at it.
But to open it up and
Before we go on, because we're working on it.
off. Okay,
Here's my thing. So you are a licensed criminal addiction counselor.
I am.
So how did you end up in Superior then?
My wife lives here. So I met my wife in 1977 when she moved to my hometown, Shelby, Montana. I was free range.
So aside from going.
He
to-
does a lot of,
Yeah.
yeah, he does. Nancy Smith and